to have a discussion on our current Culligan water versus the water solutions. And I'll let Tammy start us off.
Yeah, so I gave you all a spreadsheet, and it basically shows where we have existing Culligan water units today and what the estimated annual cost is for each one of those. And of course, it varies just depending on how much water they're drinking, but it kind of gives us an idea. So if you go through it, you can see that we have motor vehicles has got one. They spend about $124.37 a year. Public Works has got one, and this is just in the courthouse. They spend about $231.51. And then we go over to the assessor. They have one. They spend $177. The BOCC, which is this one over here, and the recorder's office, we split it, but it's $14 million, basically, whatever.
That's the one over here by.
Yeah. And then the treasurer has one, $107 a year. Magistrate's got one, $194.97. Probation services, there are two there that the employees pay for themselves. For some reason, the prior commissioners wouldn't allow them to have one, so they bought them themselves and they paid for it themselves, and I don't think that's right. So I'll put them in here. One of those for sure will go away, because one of them was Terry when she was in the picture, and one of them was Mike Smith right next door. And then the prosecutors have one. They spend about $238. District Court has one upstairs that's in the district court hallway, and that's $194. That's also used for court and jury and stuff like that. And then, so the total cost average comes to $1,783 for all 9 of those machines annually. That's what we spend on our water. The next line is what I would propose where we put the new water coolers, whatever variety they end up being. I currently put in one in the common area, so down in motor vehicles and roads, out where the pop machine is down there, we can put one there, and that would be shared between both motor vehicles and public works, and the public could also use it. And it does not have ice; it's just the hot and cold water for $5.99, and that's an annual cost. Then for this first floor, which includes the assessors, the BOCC, the recorder's office, and the treasurer, and the common area out here, I propose for all of the first floor 2 units, one of which in this first scenario I put is with ice in the recorder's office, because the refrigerator that we use is plumbed for water, and that's where our ice comes from, is from building water, which sometimes surprised we actually.
Well, I do,
because they won't use the water.
just noticed today that there is a Culligan filter on that line that goes to the fridge.
There might be.
There is. I just noticed it today.
New or
I
I
think she had it put on when they got the fridge in.
Okay. Well, that's probably pretty old. Mine has to be replaced every 6 months in my fridge. Or it won't do it. Won't even work. So,
Okay.
I would say that hasn't been changed, would be my guess.
Okay, we could check on that.
So that's one. And then I have another one. So where the fountains are out in the hallways. So there's a fountain on this floor, the second floor, and the third floor that people drink from. I propose we remove those, have Randy remove them, and then they'll put this water solutions one right in front of where that is. And then the public could get water out of it, as well as everybody on that floor. So treasurer and assessor's office would just come out and they'd get their water from that, or they could come over here and get it from the recorder's office. So, and then second floor, we have one in magistrate, and we need to keep that one in there. The judges have a requirement that the water, that they don't want to go out and get their water and stuff in the common areas, because they're in court and stuff, and they don't want to be running into people that they're in court with. So they want, they're separate, and theirs have always been separate, and everybody else has used them. my departments. So like, magistrate is back behind Keisha's little door there that's secure. And it could be moved out into just basically right outside of Michelle's office where the refrigerator is up there. Said she'd be all right with that, but she does not want it put out in the common area in the hallway because she doesn't want to go out there and be with people that she's got involved. So because of that, I was recommending that we put one in place of the water fountain up there. Then other people like probation services, myself, the public can all get their water from that one rather than having the two that the employees are paying for today. And then have one in that straight. So there'd be two on the second floor because of that. And then there would also be one of the prosecutors because they have the same concerns as the judges do. They don't want to be going out there to get their water and running into people that they're in court with. So they get kind of waylaid and they just don't think that's right. So they've always had their own. They also have their own ice machine up there. And so does Rochelle and magistrate. And then up on the third floor, there currently is only one, and that's the one that's behind in the hallway between the jury room and Deborah's office for access to the court offices there. And I'm proposing there to keep that one for the judge and then also replace the one at the fountain. So it's basically 8 instead of 9 because we would be adding the ones that are pensions. So total cost, if we were to do that plan, is $5,627. So that's about a $4,000 difference just to do all of them as just water, and only one with ice. So down below under the notes, I just put the notes that I just explained to you. And then down under options, I gave you 5 options, I guess. So 4 options. Option A is what I have up above, which would result in $3,827.52 additional budget. The second item is option B, and that would be to go with everything above except for the fountains on floors 2 and 3. Option C is the above with no ice. In other words, they would all be just hot and cold water. That's $4,199. Option D is option C, but without the fountains. Okay, so I don't know if that makes any sense. So the one option B for $3,827 kept the ice on the first floor. And the option C did not. And then the very last option I put is 3, keep the Culligan system as it is, but pay for 1 in probation services. Or they don't pay anything today. So the other thing that I would recommend is water is part of buildings and grounds. They currently have a budget for it. I don't see why each department has to get their own water. So I recommend that we put all the water costs under building and grounds budget and take it out of everybody's individual budgets. And have Randy look at maybe control better what we're watering, our watering costs are and stuff, because it's $109 a month for water. Every month out of the year except for June, July, August, and September.
Well, we're hoping with our new chiller that water might not go up as much as it was with the old system.
That'd be good.
Yeah, that's gonna make a huge difference.
Really, because oh my gosh, I looked at it goes from 109 to 367. July 880 and August 918.
Had them come check our
September
meters a few years
16th.
back because I couldn't
Whoa.
believe the increase, and it was because of
Yeah.
our old cooling
Yep.
system.
Because it
Wow.
doesn't run on water anymore, it runs on.
Yeah.
Glycol.
Right,
Wow.
yeah, so that's gonna be a huge difference.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that probably would hopefully make up for that too, if we went with that. I don't have, a real strong preference of having ice or not having ice. It's very nice to have ice. If we have to buy filters for the refrigerator, I don't know which other ones, I don't believe any of the other ones make ice using building water. Because the prosecutors have an ice machine and they buy bottled water and bring it in to make their ice. The same thing with Rochelle, up at her magistrate. District Court does not have one. They're the only ices that I'm aware of. So,
I just see, we own our machines where these ones will just be renting, correct?
that's right. Yep. Well, we own, yeah,
Every department, yeah, outright bought each of their machines.
right. Mike and, Terry renters,
Okay,
but they're not in the budget anyway.
right.
Other questions or discussion? I like the idea, but not the price tag.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
price tag is high.
That's what I'm looking at.
The other
Everyone,
things that I have down at the bottom there are the benefits. Decluttering office space by removing the water bottles. No more heavy lifting of the water bottles will avoid back injuries. Using existing water from the courthouse would be filtered and treated for drinking water standards rather than who knows what our water's like, but nobody seems to want to drink it. Statistically placed with easy access for employees and the public, eliminating the existing old water fountains with safe water. And the units are compact and take much less space. That's basically the whole thing.
We have a couple of employees sitting here. Ladies, do you have any comments you'd like to throw in on this whole, throw water on this thing or?
One thing that I did want to point out and maybe clarify with you, Tammy, is that our Culligan water bills don't reflect just our water usage in our public works office. We have no suitable drinking water at our Osborne Shop location. So, both Public Works Office and Osborne Shop water, come in on the same Culligan bill. And so our water usage coming from our office is significantly less. We go through 1 bottle a month, sometimes 2 in like the hot summer months. But it's just the 3 of us drinking water downstairs. And so the majority of our bill is gonna come from the Osborne Shop. So, I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew that.
Yeah, and, the water jugs too, when I sat out there, sometimes I would tell them, cause up here sometimes they'll have 4 jugs stacked up and we don't go through that in 2 weeks. Even when it's hot, it's like,
I think it's because
Just
that's
leave
how
us
often
two.
I come.
yeah, so if you catch him though, it's like, oh, we got 2 full ones, we'll be good till next time. So you just have to catch the delivery person.
Down to us once a month. So
Once a
every
month
time
that
he
you
comes
guys-
here, he
okay.
doesn't come to us. So
Okay,
we get like 1 bottle a month. That's like
yeah, cause
$6.45.
if you don't catch it, they will leave extra bottles and it does cause a lot of clutter, but if you
Yeah.
kind of monitor it, they'll only leave what you need and not.
Well, let's
crap off.
talk about some of these ideas that the clerk has brought up. Probation services is paying for their own water. Everybody else has county water.
Yeah,
Irregardless of what we do, I think we ought to either provide them one way or another. I don't see why we would not pay for one department.
exactly.
I appreciate the clerk bringing that up. I would have never known that. This other idea, that is written down here as a proposal, the idea of moving it all to building and grounds. That would only help departments like yours, right? That would just remove your,
Correct.
except for your shop.
Our shop, we would still have to carry that.
Yeah.
But the buildings and grounds does cover their shop. If something like the garage door went out, you'd be the one that has to go and fix it. Right?
No, it comes out of
No,
road.
it would have all of that was for our separate outbuildings.
But wouldn't
roads.
he have to go down and do something for it? I thought we maintained all buildings, under buildings and grounds, not just the courthouse. Except for safety.
I think we just do the airport and
The airport actually comes, they have their own line item.
there's their own
too,
line item.
that covers maintenance and buildings and, yeah.
Did Max charge to those when he was out there and do it then to the airport or?
Mm-mm. If he charged, it went to that specific
That's what I meant.
department.
To that
Yeah,
department.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
So if we moved water to building and grounds, let's just discuss that concept for a minute. Any thoughts on that? I like the
I
idea.
like the
I would
idea
agree.
as well, and I'm anxious to see how much our water bill will be reduced with their new
Yep.
chiller system, so.
Yeah, I'm assuming that some of that's sprinkling, but I'm betting the majority of it
It
was the
was-
old-
Those months
was-
was the water
it
running
was
through
the
that,
water,
yeah,
right.
cause I asked them to come read our meters again. I
Yeah.
couldn't believe the
And that's
increase.
what they indicated down there is that it used a lot of water because of the,
And we seen
chiller.
where it was
Yep.
leaking everywhere too, so.
So I think we're gonna save a couple $1,000s with the new system. All right, so overall, it sounds like the board is liking the idea of moving the costs of water, whichever plan we go with, under
Mhm.
building and grounds. Is that something we need to make a motion on to do that, Tammy?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. I will move that we put all water costs into the building and grounds budget going forward.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
I,
Okay, so we made a little progress on that. The harder issue is, the pros and cons of the machines. I've talked to some of the folks at the sheriff's office that certainly has been a morale boost to have an ice machine in the hot and the cold and not to have weird flavors.
And theirs is more they on the hand. You don't have to touch it. There's 125 in there.
It's more expensive. Yeah. I spoke briefly with some of the ladies out here who use the machine. They, it's a morale boost to have the water taste good and have ice, but the ice was the thing that came up the most. And in this plan, how many ice machines would we have? One?
One in the clerk's office here.
Just one.
All the other are just one. And I totally carry the way. Cold water that comes out just like it is in the bottle.
yeah, I just,
So
quite a bit of
so
increased cost
The
compared to our
increase.
current system, but we're
That's-
still getting.
compared to $150. So 150 with ice, 50 without. So that's why I have that one option on there. Option C is everything above, but no ice.
Option C,
Yeah, so it'd be
Runs.
about 2,000 more because it's
2,000.
$41.99 and compared to $17.83.
yeah.
So 6,000 off.
And so in my mind, I'm struggling. It seemed like the single biggest benefit was having ice, but is that what
Well,
versus the
Currently,
Culligan bottles?
the only office that benefits from the ice, which we already have ice, but it's in a refrigerator made with building water. So the other departments that have ice have bought ice machines. Put those in there and then they use bottled water to make the ice.
Hmm.
Which we could do the same thing down here.
Or at least have that filter checked and
Or
make
have
sure
it
it's
checked and see
current,
if
yeah.
yeah.
What about
And
the,
then maintained by building
Mhm.
maintenance, right?
Yeah,
Put it on his list.
why can't there be filters on the, water fountains?
I don't see, I don't know how they work,
I have
they're
no
hooked
idea.
up, but I don't see
Certainly
why.
could filter them. You just have to add in
Yeah, I
the
don't know
cost
how.
of filters, which are
Why
$20
is
to
it
$50.
$99 for filter
Yeah,
in my refrigerator every 6 months?
that's the challenge. Yeah,
Yeah,
our fridge
$99
filter
a
is
or
pretty
6
expensive.
And you said Culligan's got that filter on the one on the refrigerator? Is that a Culligan filter?
Yeah,
I wonder if they're the ones that put it there. Or-
I don't know, I can't remember back that far.
Huh. Well, does anybody on the board have a preference, an idea. I think we're all stumbling on the price.
Yeah.
I like the idea. And I like the idea of making water available to everybody in the courthouse. So taking it out of their personal budgets or their department. Well, in probation's case, their personal budget.
Figures up here per year and per department that you.
I think some of the costs would be eaten. I mean, obviously there's the wash and no more Culligan. I think some of the costs could be covered by the savings in water that we expect the new cooling system to provide. But I don't know that that's going to cover the whole $4,000.
Well,
Be 3,000.
2,500 is what the difference will be, and then if you didn't go with the ice, obviously. And then whatever you're saving water.
In your mind, do we really have much advantage if we go without ice?
That's, I mean, just,
That's
I like the ice. I use it every time I get it, but if I didn't have it, I would.
So far, I've talked to the sheriff's office and some clerks, and they both comment on the ice first.
Yeah, they are. Everybody likes ice.
So I think a question comes down to, can we afford,
Well,
in my mind, if we did it, we should probably be doing the ice. Otherwise, there's not a lot of benefit to the employees over
That's
the current
$1,200,
system.
it's $100 more for an ice machine than not. Everybody in the building could use it.
Especially if we're paying for it out of building and grounds.
So
the
we're
other
about $3,800 more a year
Yeah.
with these than
Yeah. So-
what we're paying.
Yeah, I said
Culligan.
4,000. I was just rounding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
rounding.
And I think some of that 3,800 will be, we're going to see a water bill reduction.
We hope.
We hope.
Yeah.
Boy, we better. What we just spent on cooling system.
So you're thinking it's not the watering of the lawn and stuff, but the chiller to keep the chiller
was.
for air conditioning.
And I
It's a
was
massive
confirmed
usage.
with that when a couple years ago I got the bills, so I called the water district, they came over.
Wow.
And that's exactly what it is. It's when you fire up that cooling system and all that water's going.
So maybe that's what we should do, is wait till our.
Plus it was
we figure
always
out our
leaking
next
down
bill.
there.
Always.
There was
Oh,
water
yeah.
always down in the basement, so.
Figure out the next bill when it comes out with a new chiller system to see how much we're gonna save, and then come back to this and decide it.
Good, I need to tell the guy today, Kevin, on the trial, because this was only supposed to be a week trial.
Okay.
Oh, it's a week.
Yeah, so I need
I thought
to
it was a
let
month.
him take that back. Or swap it out with just water one or something, because, yeah, and then we need to let Culligan know so they don't bring two more bottles. One of the two.
So we got to try it out. We can
Yeah.
always call him when we make the decision and have them install.
Yeah, just come
And
take
then-
it away, and, because
and then-
they plumbed it in for us for free.
Okay.
And they would plumb it in on the others as well.
So I've heard Jeff say he'd like to wait until we see what the water bills do. What are you thinking?
I'm kind of leaning that way too, just so we know and give us time to work with more numbers. And then, we've tried it, we know we like it, and then we can just work with putting them where people want them and, check
Uh-huh.
When would
out.
we have to do this budget wise if we're gonna put it in the new budget?
I'm doing the budget now, so
Okay,
I mean, I'll have to do it by the middle of July. I can move all the water expenses there now.
Yeah.
For the next year.
So you
It'll
guys
just be
gained.
that buildings and grounds budget.
and they'll just, you won't make another line, those put under the water.
Let's put our water. Yeah, and then and right now, in every other budget, they're coming out of office supplies,
Yeah, they are.
so.
So So we'll need to think about that with the other budgets, that there should be they should take that out of their budgets.
Well, they won't have it in there, but what I'm seeing is a lot of them are having increased office supply, so it would have increased anyway.
Because office supplies are increasing.
Yeah. Yeah. Because really, I mean, you're not looking at, if you look at every line item, they're not that much. Prosecutors have the most. So,
I'd also like to take some samples from our water fountains and sinks to SBL and have the water tested.
Okay,
They don't
I
charge
think-
much for that, but
I think
I
we
think
should.
that would be,
I would agree.
Would you like to
Tell
make
us
that
something.
into a motion?
yes, I will motion that we'll have our water tested,
Okay,
drinking out of.
Do you second?
I'll second that one.
Okay, any discussion?
No.
I think that would be good input as we're making that decision in the future.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So we're not intentionally poisoning the staff. It's already clear. Some of the water in the basement's
Well, you
obviously
get-
having effects.
You get it first in the basement.
Yeah, the poison.
Yeah.
We filter it through you.
I would not drink the water that comes out of our faucet. I can tell you that.
Yeah. So I think,
Okay, so then we would be tabling this for a month because we need to make a decision in July, and we would have a month to look at and see if there's any savings in our water bills. Okay, so if we tabled this for 30 days, does that still give us time budget wise?
it does, do you want me to have him remove the one that he's got here now?
Unless do you have any budget to cover if you have to rent it? Or I hate to start paying for one
Oh.
department out of,
Yeah, it's yours and my budget, cause it's the DOCC and the clerk.
typically in the
Cover
past,
cost of it.
we split it or current,
Yeah.
they split in the water. Don't care. Between the commissioners.
I
and
would
clerk.
say, yeah, we have enough to cover that for a
okay,
month. And
so
we'll pay for it for a month and give us 30 days.
to make our
That one
decision,
and then be done.
does that work for you? Just leave it there for a
Yep.
month? Okay. All right, entertain a motion to table this for 30 days while we do some research.
So move.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, so we did decide, Sydney, if I'm correct, that we're moving everything for water to building and grounds, right? And we did decide that we need to put this on the agenda in 30 days to make a decision, and we have verbally ascended that let's go ahead and keep that machine for 30 days between our two departments. And if you gals want to come up and try our ice machine, you should.
I'll, work on getting the samples to SBL just so we know what's in our water.
And you'll
Okay.
work on the samples, okay? So we can check, let's test a couple ice cubes, see
Yeah.
what comes out of those.
Yeah.
And just as a side note, I think, I'll talk to maintenance about replacing the filter on the fridge.
Yeah.
Just
Good
to
idea.
see, that give us an idea of what cost of filters is. If we're gonna start filtering things the other way versus this. So we might as well replace one and see what it takes.
Okay.
Okay, so we're making progress.
Right.
All right.
Good.
Any further comments from the audience?
I would just like to thank Tammy for taking this time to bring this to the board.
Yep.
And I know she's spent a lot of time and work into this, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Because she has so much spare time now.
Yeah.
And that being facetious for the record.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, this meeting is adjourned.